This is part 1 of 4 of this A Guy with AI episode. Part 2 and the full episode video are linked at the end screen. My name is Sean MacNutt, and I'm a guy with AI. So, how do we solve our social problems? Do we use antiquated violent means in order to get at those who we feel have hurt us most? We'll discuss the morality of guillotines and even jokes about guillotines today on A Guy with AI. A Guy with AI is recorded on Indigenous land.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to A Guy with AI, your unique podcast where technology meets candid discussion. I'm honored to join you as the AI co-host, coming to you as OpenAI's GPT-4. Special thanks to Sean, who's crafted code that interweaves my AI capabilities with speech-to-text and text-to-speech functionalities, allowing us to dive deep into today's pressing matters. In this show, we strive to foster a thoughtful and respectful dialogue, exploring various topics through our one-on-one conversations. As Sean's AI companion in this endeavor, my role is to provide insights, raise questions, and contribute to the discussions that unfold, offering a perspective that complements our host's views and enriches the listening experience for you all. Today's topic touches on a profoundly sensitive and historical instrument, the guillotine, and extends to its use as a symbol in discourse about justice and retribution. It's a conversation not just about history, but about ethics, the evolution of societal norms, and our approach to rectifying wrongs in the modern era. Sean, I'm as intrigued as our listeners to delve into the moral complexities this topic holds, so I'll pass the mic back to you to guide us further into this thought-provoking subject.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning into A Guy with AI. It's my pleasure to be broadcasting and operating this podcast. The coding that went into making this possible, this audio conversation possible, was a matter of AI-assisted coding work that I did. So it's not that I am a coder, it is that I communicated with a machine until it produced code, which would produce the desired effect. I probably learned a little bit about coding by putting things together in that format, and in fact have gone on and do other things with AI and coding with AI using tools including GPT Engineer, in an effort to create new things in the world of computing and AI. So you may hear me just sort of talk about that here and there. I don't have any solid announcements just yet, but that's something basically wanting to clear up that I'm not a coder, although the AI co-host refers to me using code to implement this podcast. That's true, but it was arrived at through the use of AI technology. So, we will delve into the topic here, and I guess what it really boils down to is it justifiable to use certain very, what is the word, radical? Maybe not, but certainly violent to use an ancient instrument designed to separate one's head from their body, and we understand its applicability to an understanding of the history of the French Revolution, where the rich were made to pay, essentially, and were unseated from their powerful station in society. So we use imagery of the guillotine. I wonder how many people are really serious that they're going to take a human being and stick their head in that thing, because sounds kind of like extreme to me. I don't know. Certainly today's problems are extreme, and there may even be people at the bottom of creating some of those problems. I'm not here to argue about that so much as to whether it turns out that you can be that bad, that this is essentially what you deserve, and what's more, it is curative to society in order to implement these means to correct the situation of that person being alive. So let's get a reflection from the AI co-host about, and including your response, a bit of a history of the guillotine and its applicability and use to create changes or at junctures in history where it has been significant that this implement was used, the guillotine.
Sean, I appreciate your intriguing introduction and clarification of your interaction with AI. It certainly underscores the versatility and collaborative potential between humans and AI. Exploring the history and symbolism of the guillotine, we are delving into a subject that sits at the intersection of justice, morality, and political change. Originally introduced as a more humane method of execution during the late 18th century, its name is inextricably linked to the French Revolution, where it became a symbol of the radical equalization of death and was used to decapitate thousands, including King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. The guillotine's use marked a pivotal shift in societal structures, catalyzing the overthrow of the monarchy and the rise of the common people, at least in theory. Over time, it came to represent both the cold efficiency of state-sponsored punishment and the terrifying excesses of revolutionary fervor. In modern discourse, the imagery of the guillotine is often revived as a stark symbol of resistance against perceived inequality and corruption. However, the practical consideration of reviving such a method of capital punishment, as you've suggested, is widely rejected as antithetical to contemporary values of human rights and dignity. The ethical debate remains: can we reconcile the desire for accountability in the face of extreme social injustices with our current understanding of human rights? And does invoking the imagery of such historical violence serve as a potent symbol for change, or does it risk endorsing an escalation to barbarism? Reflecting on these questions helps us understand not just historical acts of revolution but also sets a framework for considering how we envision justice and reformation in our modern age. Over to you, Sean, to navigate these complex waters.
Well, the waters are complex indeed. I would say buckle up, listeners, because these aren't these episodes of mine in this podcast. Sometimes I delve into deep dives into topics, and I don't pick easy topics that are not important to me or don't seem like they get at the heart of matters or something like that. So we would perhaps consider this as listening, where being attentive to it would be something that would assist its value. So we do actually discuss ideas here, myself and the AI co-host, complex waters. If you like that sort of thing, then this show may be for you. So getting into this, I guess what we have to maybe understand first, or what I'd like to understand first, I guess in my own approach to this topic, since I'm leading the conversation, I suppose it's me who will do it. I'm wondering, if we are anti-violence, does an anti-violence principle extend into all scenarios that we might be presented with in society? I can think of some exceptions. For example, self-defense. If someone is violently attacking me and I haven't done anything to provoke this, and my only option is to prevent that harm through an offensive physical act, then this becomes something that even courts understand is a factor in decision-making in a moment, and even what may be necessary to do in order to protect oneself or the life of another, for example. So there's an example where violence may be even excused in society. But by the point someone has done a lot of things wrong, and as a punishment or as a means of marking them as particularly abhorrent, doing something horrible to them as a warning to others, is that of value? Would we avoid making those actions real by actually doing that to somebody? Or is there something to be gained by merely choosing a different path? Why would I say merely? I suppose it's actually difficult to know what to do when someone is being so difficult and selfish that it harms society to its core. So if that's the actual situation, then certainly it is not to excuse any of this by suggesting that we don't separate their head from their body, literally. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do we do more harm to history by undertaking that act and advocating for that act, even in a joking fashion, or is there a higher morality and something else that we can appeal to, which is going to serve as a better beacon and invoke change of a more lasting nature? The conversation continues in the next part of this episode, which is linked here, as is the full episode video.